Ryan, this is a bit of a new experience for you. We don't hear much of you out of Westlake since you've been here. Now that you're in charge, you might have to front the cameras a bit more often.
Yeah, just saying, I've done a fair few press conferences and interviews over the years, but I've probably had a 2-year hiatus, and yeah, to be given this opportunity to head coach our SANFL teams, it's really exciting, and yeah, it's all going to be all incumbents of the whole experience and part of my development as a coach. So yeah, really looking forward to it.
When you first came here, was this part of the goal, or did you think you'd move into the AFL coach's box or the system a little bit quicker?
Coming from player, I suppose just that the first year is just getting used to the whole different aspect of being a coach from a player, and then finding my feet. And I think this is a perfect pathway and a perfect stepping stone for my own personal development. But hopefully, it gives me the opportunity to be able to build a lot more relationships with a lot more players rather than just a specific area, and help develop our younger players or players playing the SANFL to reach their potential and hopefully play AFL.
What have you learned as a coach during your 2 years here at the club?
A whole different skill base as a coach compared to a player, and dealing with different personalities and different generations and all that sort of thing. But yeah, just the ability to pass the knowledge and give the players a vehicle that they can learn and adapt.
Does much change though, Ryan? Because it's all about development of players and working under what Pikey wants. Does much change under you, what we saw from him?
No, not really. We're a whole club, and our messaging and the way we want to play and our styles, from AFL to SANFL, it won't change too much at all. Obviously, as coaches, we've gone through how last year went, and we've reviewed that and areas we might want to tweak in that, but it's definitely going to not see much of a change between our AFL and SANFL style and the way we go about our business.
And you talk about your development as a coach. Is it your job to impress Pike, or rather than sort of get wins and that sort of stuff?
My main job...
Be pushing your case for further down the track. It's more about impressing your other coaches rather than the wins and what you can, and that sort of stuff.
Well, my job's to develop and get the best out of our players. That's my prime goal. Whatever stems off that, so be it. But develop the players that come play in our SANFL team to make sure they're playing the best they can possibly be and to further their career.
Do you have aspirations to be a senior coach in the AFL one day?
Look, I'll take this step first and then see how it pans out. It's a journey that I want to be in for a long time. So we'll just see how that journey pans out.
You've obviously been involved with a lot of the young midfielders here at the club in the last couple of years. Will you still maintain that role a bit, or do you sort of obviously now just concentrate on the SANFL on the day-to-day? Is that your main role now?
It'll be both. I'll still have that with our young mids. I'll still have that relationship and work closely with them, and obviously work closely with Scott Camporelli in terms of how we develop those players. But then obviously having an overview and overlook of the whole SANFL team.
How much can you put your own influence on it, Dave?
Just the way my messaging, I suppose, game day and the way I see the game. Obviously, the AFL and SANFL, it's a different game. It's played differently, dealing with the different players, our top-up players, that sort of thing. So just the way I message it, the culture, that little subculture, I'll try to grow and flourish in the SANFL. But look, I suppose it's only is sort of reflection of the players and what they achieve out of it.
Lots been made of, obviously, the Brownlow was an enormous issue. 2012 was your premiership year at the Swans. If someone said to you now, looking back, you don't have that premiership, how would that make you feel?
If I did the right thing, or
in the same circumstance, if they said, look, looking back, there was a question and now it's been taken away. I mean, ultimately, the sympathy you must show for someone that loses a prize like that must be enormous as a former player.
Yeah, you do anything you've achieved that's been taken away from you. I suppose you wouldn't feel too happy about it. But yeah, there's a very complex situation there that I'm not privy to all the information. So that's pretty hard for me to comment on how they'll be feeling or not. So
looking from our point of view, we obviously don't know what it's like to be a premiership player, but you'd imagine if it was taken away from you personally, then without being able to comment on Job's emotions, it's fair to say you'd be shattered.
Yeah, it's hard to fathom what it would be. I suppose maybe go ask the Melbourne Storm players that had that experience. They'll probably give you a better answer.
Ryan, with like you said, you've worked with Adelaide's young midfielders in the last couple of years. Where do you see the growth of guys like Harrison Wigg and Dean Gore going into next year?
Yeah, well, they're just going to keep building on the foundation they've set for last year, especially. Both of them set some really good standards and made progress in their career. They're obviously in their infancy, but for them to come back, develop, probably physically, develop and get strong to compete with the men and the power and the speed of the AFL game. So when they get back next week, hopefully in really good shape and be able to sort of give them a really good platform to launch into the next season.
There's been a lot made about Adelaide's midfield. Obviously tried to get Bryce Gibbs across during the trade period, didn't happen. Is there enough depth and growth in those guys like Wigg and Gore to sort of cover, or sort of come up to the AFL and make their mark next year?
Yeah, we hope so. That's definitely the plan. You also obviously want to develop the players you got on your list to make sure they step up and keep putting pressure on and vie for games. So yeah, we're definitely hoping the guys we've got on our list all make improvements. We had a pretty good season last year, but it wasn't to the pinnacle where everyone's trying to achieve. So hopefully that development amongst our list will keep going.
How closely have you worked with Harrison Wigg, and what sort of specific things have you talked to him about what he can improve in his game?
Yeah, with Harrison, he's obviously probably just his physical attributes. Last year was his first year as a midfielder, so to be able to build that running power, we know he's an elite kick, but just that ability to probably play inside, win the contested ball, but also that run to get out and use his strength in his kicking and decision making.
Is that a similar thing with Dean Gore, or how do you assess Dean's first season here at the club? Yeah,
look, it was his first year, finding his feet, coming over the trade, so hopefully he's comfortable in his environment, and then going forward this year that he gets his body into good shape to be able to attack pre-season, get a good pre-season under his belt, and then who knows from there. So obviously you want those players to see improvements in all areas of their game, not just one specific.
Do you watch the cricket?
No.
You don't watch it?
Oh, I haven't watched it. I haven't had time to watch it. As soon as I have time to watch, it's over.